Or he
kept goal for
Inniskeen.
Actually, while Yates had no mention of Gaelic football, you're right about Kavanagh, because Kavanagh said that the most violent scene he ever witnessed in his life was a GA match between Inniskeen and Donegal. He says, when from the very start, he said they tore hammer and tongs into each other. He says there was fellas being felled all over the field, and suddenly they realised after 10 minutes the referee hadn't thrown the ball in yet. So anyway,
things happen.
They've had their great years, 2 All-Ireland finals, winning one of them. But everything moves on, and the question is Donegal moving on with where things are at now in Gaelic football?
Well, the evidence so far from the Ulster Championship would seem to indicate very much yes. Rory Gallagher seems to have re-energised and reinvigorated the team, and the performance against Armagh particularly was one of the best of any team in the Championship that we have seen so far. And I suppose the other thing, even though we look on the Ulster final today, it's probably going to be a very tight affair, not much in it, we'd still see Donegal as realistic All-Ireland contenders, but yet not too many would see Monaghan as contenders. Yet Monaghan could win today.
Yeah, OK. Well, we are getting closer to throw-in time in this year's Ulster football final. Donegal are the holders of the Anglo-Celt Cup, but 12 months before that, the celebrations were in
Championship and has yet to concede a goal, but he has scored 1 point from a 45. In the modern game, Desi Moan epitomises the multi-skilling now involved. Named a corner back, he scored 2 points in the championship so far. Do Hamlet's Colin Walsh and Ty Holland's Carl O'Connell have blossomed out on the wings, with Fintan Kelly a solid anchor in the centre. Neil McAdam and Darren Hughes are a formidable centre-field partnership, as Monaghan manager Malachy O'Rourke is hoping to win, indeed, this crucial area. There are 2 late changes. Owen Lennon and Kieran Duffy are now named in the Monaghan half-forward line. Moving on to the full forward line, Castleblaney man Dermot Malone has yet to score in the championship, but the real firing power stands beside him in full forward Kieran Hughes and top scorer and captain Conor McManus. He was an all-star goalkeeper in 2012 and 2014. Donegal's Paul Durkin is still producing the magic between the posts. He's only conceded 1 goal so far in this Ulster Championship. The McGee brothers, Neil and Eamon from Guidor, are rock solid with good backup from Paddy McGrath, number 2. It's the Ulster champions' most impressive and strongest line, with Ryan McHugh, Carl Lacey and Frank McGlenn wearing 5, 6 and 7. Glen Swilly's Neil Gallagher and St Michael's Martin McAnally would fancy their chances against any midfield combination in the land. Christy Toy begins his 56th championship match today beside Oran McNeilis, who's a really good footballer. There's 1 late change which sees Mark McHugh named at left half forward. And the most lethal line on this Donegal team is here in the full forward line, where Paddy McBrearty, team captain Michael Murphy and corner forward Colin McFadden operate. We're just about 12-13 minutes away from the start of the Ulster Final 2015.
Thanks for the moment, Marty. Let's get some final views then from our panel on today's game. Colin, we'll come to your analysis piece in a moment, but before that, some of those changes that have been made on the teams, the Monaghan team, big changes in their half-forward line.
Yeah, well, I suppose, again, the numbers don't mean much at the position. Like, Owen Lennon is going to come in around midfield, and I'd say he probably is there to mark Neely Gallagher, who probably has been Donegal's most influential player. Now, Michael Murphy gets all the kudos, but Neely Gallagher has just been fantastic this year. I had written him off about 3 years ago, I have to say, and he's just got better and better and better. What will happen, I'd say, is Neil McAdam will go back there as a sweeper for Monaghan. They'll have him and I don't know how many others sweeping behind, and they'll leave probably Kieran Hughes and Conor McManus as the out-and-out strikers.
Sure.
And then you have Mark McHugh, who's going to be the runner for Donegal. Ryan McHugh and Mark McHugh will be just up and down the field running those lines all the time. As soon as Donegal lose possession, they'll be sitting back in front of their full back line.
So, Colin, let's have a look at the Donegal attack and how they set themselves up.
Gallagher is available. Carl Lacey eventually uses him. Donegal retain possession. Oran McNeilis finding space rather easily as the left corner back Eamon McGee. Is this the first score of the match? White flag is raised. Patrick McBrearty at the end of a very patient move.
Lovely score by McBrearty that time. The use of the sweeper the Monaghan have put into place is not working for them so far, but that time very noticeable in the attack. McGee came up, I think it was actually the left corner back.
4 from Scottstown. It's a mighty kick of a ball, I have to say. At the end of it there momentarily was Owen Lennon, but Donegal have the possession again. Neil Gallagher looks to be taking a lot of responsibility, showing leadership, making himself available. Colin McFadden down towards Patrick McBrearty. The overlap is provided by Carl Lacey. Donegal have settled well. Here comes the second opportunity. Here comes the second point. Great start by the champions.
That's an absolute peach that time, I think, coming up from the back. Was it Lacey? But interesting enough, number 17, Kieran Duffy, is acting as sweeper for the moment for Monaghan. He really doesn't know what he's doing, to be honest about it. They have pulled too many men back behind the ball, very few forward, and consequently Donegal. It was very interesting actually in that move there. As soon as it broke down with Neil Gallagher up in the Monaghan full back line, the two McHughes, in particular Mark McHugh, sprinted back to his own area, to his own full back line.
Beautiful weather here in Monaghan in comparison to what we had in Killarney last night. It's hard to believe we're in the same country with heavy downpour down in Killarney, and here you could get a suntan. Here comes McManus. Here comes the captain. Here comes Monaghan's first point of the match. Paul Durkin. Donegal have it. Here comes Martin McElhenney. Frank McGlenn laying it off. Fires McFadden. Getting inside the initial challenge. Trying to get a little bit of space to swing that left boot to the ball. The goalkeeper has to come off his line. There's a chance for Frank McGlenn. He lifts it, lofts it, and puts it between the posts. Just momentarily, there was a possibility of possibly a bit more.
I know it's early days yet, Marty, but Donegal are showing that capacity to free up their better talents. Like that time, great play from McFadden out the field, good ball in, and McGlynn once again, another wing back coming up, snapping up the opportunity, and a good kick off his left foot. Good score.
12-20-14, Paul Durkin. Gathered here is Kieran Hughes. Neil McAdam is calling for it in the middle, and it's sprayed over first Carl O'Connell. That's Michael Murphy that puts in the challenge. But what about that for great skill, great determination? Carl O'Connell easily getting by the Donegal captain, and then having the confidence. There's the challenge, which wasn't Murphy's strongest by far, but Carl O'Connell hit it with the side of the foot beautifully.
Yeah, he's one of the guys that caught my eyes to some side. Conor McManus on one side and Michael Murphy on the other. Neither of them have touched the ball in the first 11 or 12 minutes.
Looking at the replay, it was a high challenge as Conor McManus takes this free. This time it's from the ground, but the result, Colin Walsh almost intercepted by Owen McNeilish, slipping one through for as Colin Walsh. The return pass from Dermot Malone. Is this his first score in the championship? And Paul Durkin touched the ball on the ground, but also made a fine save. He's very, very unlucky here, because this was a good ball into Dermot Malone. Durkin advanced and bravely went down on the boot of Dermot Malone, but he did touch the ball on the ground. Just watch it here. It should appear. There's the save and there's the touch.
Yeah, and it's a 30-metre free, I think, but once again, great anticipation.
Ballyboden St Enda's man now, the goalkeeper, formerly played with Four Masters in Donegal Town, organises his defence as Conor McManus takes the free, and it should be easily tapped over the post. Is able to put it between the posts. Here's the man that can do it, Colin McFadden, but it's to the right and wide. Playing keep ball all the time. Carl O'Connell. Either have to go long or try and break that first challenge. Carl O'Connell. Desi Moan. Laying the ball in was Owen Duffy, but it's easily gathered by Paul Durkin.
Like, it's interesting the way they're actually trying to work that, Marty. They're trying to identify areas of weakness in either side, finding it very difficult because of the sheer claustrophobic aspect of the defending with both sides.
Mark McHugh was the player that laid it off to Christy Toy. Ryan Wiley is back there, so too is Neil McAdam to join him. Needs the assistance of Martin McElhenney. Good work. Owen Duffy. Vinnie Corey. Compliments to Monaghan for their defending. Owen Lennon. Over for his Dermot Malone, just around the middle of the field. Sending it back down that wing where Vinnie Corey is getting a lot of space and isn't really being challenged until he's almost on the Donegal 20-metre line. Owen Lennon uses Darren Hughes instead. Vinnie Corey is gone into space. Looking around to see what the options are. Owen Duffy is option number 1. And then it'll go all the way back again. I have to say, I don't find this interesting at all, in the sense that while they're retaining possession, Martin, it's not entertainment in the sense of bringing the ball back out to the middle of the field every
We had
time.
more entertainment coming up from Killarney last night. But the 45-metre line, Marty, is like the Maginot Line in the First World War. Thou shalt not pass.
Now that's a good ball. What about the finish? Much better. Owen Duffy gets the score. It was a wonderful crossfield ball. Owen Duffy in space. And the finish matched the sublime pass. And you could hear Owen Lennon. Good work here by Monaghan. That's a good ball. There's a chance here. And it's between the posts. Off the boot of Kieran Duffy.
That's a lovely point by Kieran Duffy that time. A lovely crossfield ball, and Kieran Duffy, let's remind ourselves, has been acting as sweeper up to now. Watch him just, Marty. He's back inside his own 45-metre line. He drifted forward that time, not picked up by the Donegal defence, and that's very well struck.
It was a high crossfield ball, and when you consider there were 3-4 Donegal defenders in the area, in the vicinity, and it was a very good position. Didn't see him. Desi Moan giving it for his Fintan Kelly. Dermot Malone hits a crossfield ball, but Donegal will easily deal with that. And Christy Toy. Great harassment by Ryan Wiley. And Christy Toy under severe pressure. 10 out of 10 to Monaghan for sheer intensity. And it's rewarded with a brilliant point by Conor McManus. The Donegal cage has been rattled, and Monaghan, in the 32,000 capacity crowd at St. Tiernach's Park, Clonus, acknowledge it and realise it.
That's a wonderful piece of tackling by Ryan Wiley up in a part of the field that he's not familiar with. Again, the pressure he put on Christy Toy that time resulted in the turnover. And for the first time, we saw Conor McManus getting on the ball in open play and firing over an inspirational point. That's a real lift to Monaghan.
I have to just note that we've seen very little of Michael Murphy in this Ulster final so far. And that's between the posts. And that is Donegal's first score in 27 minutes
And
in
Marty,
an Ulster final.
yeah, and was there ever a score needed more by a team? I think Donegal were just run.
The 20-metre line. Everything is that middle sector between the 45, 65-metre line. Coming through Owen Lennon. Back again it comes for as Desi Moe. Going for the point. And listen to the roar. Monaghan people beginning to believe. Desi Moe encapsulates the whole atmosphere and the buzz that's around this team with a wonderful point here.
And you know something, Marty? They look way more energetic than Donegal. Donegal looked leaden-legged at times. You watch Neil Gallagher that time. He just fell off the tackle rather than drove waiting for the ball to come to him. Well, he was eaten the way that a crocodile would eat a human being by a Monaghan player.
Ryan McHugh to Michael Murphy. Not a good ball from the Donegal captain. Straight to Fintan Kelly. A score before half-time would be a huge psychological boost. It's spread back to the Monaghan captain, and it's over the bar. Right decision. His colleague obviously knew. Give it to McManus. And the captain rewards that confidence with a splendid point that splits the posts.
And it all stemmed from Michael Murphy, untypically careless with possession, but certainly it has been Monaghan's half, Marty.
Listen.
It was always going to be tight and tough. It's every bit of that. But on the scoreboard, there is a gap now.
There is, and it's probably a well-deserved gap, Michael. Monaghan came out and they've had a distinct tactic to play a running game. They haven't hit any long ball. They hit one long ball in the last couple of minutes. It took them a while to settle into the game because Donegal turned them over an incredible amount of times, but they eventually found their way around it. Donegal missing a lot of tackles. That intensity that they normally bring to the game is not there. It's allowing Monaghan to find gaps. They got the goal chance. They've kicked a lot from distance with mixed results, but definitely Donegal have a job to do. They have to decide whether they want to get back into this game or not, because Monaghan are well deserved on top of it.
In a game, Colin O'Rourke, as tight as this game is and is going to be, a 4-point lead, it's a bit like having sort of, in your day, a 14-point lead.
That's right. If Donegal were 4 up, you would say that there was no way back
night.
for Monaghan. Yes. And probably the same. Both teams have set up more or less mirror images of each other and are trying to run the ball through. But Monaghan shooting from long range is much better than Donegal's. I have never seen as many back passes in a game, and it's a game of patience that Monaghan have played, and they've got Conor McManus into the game much more than previously, and the bravery of the Monaghan players like Desi Moan and Fintan Kelly. Monaghan always played, if you played against Monaghan, you knew you were going to get beaten up, but they have gone for everything. Unbelievable bravery. And I suppose the other big thing for me about the game is the lack of impact of the two big Donegal players, Michael Murphy and Neely Gallagher.
Donegal are the champions in Ulster, Pat, but they have a bit of a problem now for the second half.
They have indeed. I mean, for long spells, it was like watching a double-header of two Alfred Hitchcock films, because it was a bit of a horror show and all the worst excesses of modern Gaelic football. Donegal came into this Ulster final today on the back of a very flat performance against Derry. And we said that was a once-off. In that match against Derry, they went 20 minutes without scoring in the first half. They went 26 minutes without scoring today. Against Derry in the second half, they got 1 point in the last 28 minutes. And this performance today is like that semi-final performance. And it's so un-Donegal-like, because it's flat, there's no intensity, there's no physicality. And to see the way Monaghan are brushing by tackles, or sort of half tackles by Donegal, is most unusual. At the same time, look, credit to Monaghan, they have a game plan. They beat Donegal in the league up in Letterkenny 9 points to 1-4. They set up a mirror image, but today they have more scoring power up front. I mean, one Donegal forward scored from play.
Donegal have no offensive plan.
They have no offensive plan.
You know, they're pulling the guys back. Like McBearty has probably spent most of the time in the edge of the square, but he's pulling back.
As Martin Carney
there was a lot of talk about them, Rory Gallagher, letting them express themselves.
Donegal, you're right. Donegal are very lethargic and they're very one-dimensional, which is most surprising. I thought they'd put Michael Murphy in on the edge of the square.
The thing about it is, Colin O'Rourke, earlier on in the half, we were looking at Monaghan and we were saying,
ability to find space where most wing-backs would probably not even dare to go, which is heading towards the Donegal full back line. Neil McAdam over for his own Lennon. Dermot Malone gets on an mounted ball, back for his own Lennon. He's going for the score. Wow, what about that? You can feel the confidence oozing out of every pore. You feel that Monaghan do believe that this is their day, both on and off the field.
Oh, very much so. Tactically, they're outmanoeuvring Donegal, and when you see Owen Lennon getting a point from that
for Donegal to get a little bit closer.
Yeah, I think it was Darren Hughes actually who gave away the free, and as a consequence picked up a yellow card, Marty. I thought actually there may have been a black card in that situation, as I felt that
free for Patrick McBrearty to take his point. Fouled here by Desi Moan. Should suit a left-footed kicker. He's taking his time. He was dead right.
Neil McGee was caught, and gives an opportunity now for a nice at a nice angle for Conor McManus.
Monaghan are doing well, Martin. I know the lads mentioned it to Michael at the break about getting Conor McManus more on the ball than previous clashes between the two counties.
Yeah, well, I mentioned after 12 minutes McManus hadn't been in the game, but he certainly had a lot of joy as the half went on and improved as the half went on, but the delivery into him actually was more direct and good quality to it.
It's curling, it's curling. Oh, my word. What about that? It started off going around perhaps by Clontippert and Castleblaney, but it turned in and it landed in Clonus.
Well, it was halfway down the Skillen. I thought for a minute, from our angle here, I thought it was going
Middle. Coming from left half back is Frank McGlynn. Straight through the middle. He's already scored once. He hasn't done it the second time. 45. Still McFadden. Trying to get it onto that left foot. Lovely little jink. Will it go? It won't. Wide ball. Hands. Picked up by Ryan McAnespy. Under pressure. Coming forward is Ryan Wiley. To his right is Neil McAdam. Again, that intensity and belief. 2 against 1 up here. But the one is Conor McManus. Double marked here. Makes an angle and scores a magnificent point. Now that's class. Sheer, utter class. Double marked, long ball up, and he scores.
Oh, great credit, it must be said initially to the corner forward. I think it was Dermot Malone who stripped the ball off Colin McFadden at the other end of the ground. Even though double teamed that time, McManus had the composure, the accuracy and the calmness to slot that one over the bar. He's becoming the real match-winning force, the match-shaping force for Monaghan.
Second and 5th minute of the first half, didn't score for 27 minutes, and then got a point from a free by Michael Murphy. This is his second. He hits it. Will it curl just to the left? Coming through the middle is Marty O'Reilly. Oh, O'Reilly has done really well. Referee has signalled a free. With his 4th point of the match. Aaron Hughes. Anthony Thompson. Patrick McBrearty. From way out the field. Is this straight in through? It certainly is.
Oh, that's a sublime score, Marty, that time by Patrick McBrearty. He took on the responsibility, nothing in front of him, had the confidence to go for it, and again, makes only 2 points in it, and I'd say, okay, 64 minutes gone, it's still there for Donegal if they have the belief, but Monaghan have got to go a little bit more into an offensive pattern and not
this. It's sailing straight between the posts. It's just 1 point between the teams. And he certainly. Monaghan have it. Owen Lennon goes for the long ball. Down first Conor McManus. Right man, right place. Off the post. And there waiting for it was Eamon McGee. Oh, the drama is beginning to unfold. The tension palpable now. Against Fermanagh. Puts this over. I certainly will claim him as a hero to guarantee victory, perhaps. The ball is to the right and wide. Now, it's up to the referee. 3 minutes of additional time. We have about 40 seconds left or thereabouts. Donegal have to go forward. They have to get a score quickly. And away they go. Patrick McBrearty. They cannot even allow the ball to go dead here. Mark McHugh. Twisting and turning, trying to get inside Dick Clarkin. One back out first, Frank McGlynn. Can they get the equaliser? Can Monaghan hold on? Ball into the path of Michael Murphy. Just about got there. Flicked it over first, Paddy McGrath. Good work again. Nice combination between Leo McClune and Paddy McGrath. Anthony Thompson. Can Neil Gallagher be the man? Who will take the opportunity? Right man, right place. Patrick McBrearty. Is it over the bar? It's wide.
Wow.
The umpire says it is wide.
Oh, that's a big call. The Donegal fans down in front of us were going that time thinking it had gone over the bar. That was McBrearty's chance to kind of, equalise things and bring us back here another day.
Let's have a look at the replay, Martin. Hard to judge, but you sense possibly it was to the left and wide.
It had to be, I think, over the post, or it had to be just very
Looks
narrow
wide
right.
from that angle.
It does, yeah, in all fairness.
Hawkeye needed in Clonus. And the final whistle has blown. Monaghan have beaten Donegal in the Ulster final and won their 16th title. Malachy O'Rourke has done it again. Overall, the better team. They were only level once. That was in the first half. Half-time, 4 points between the teams. Full-time, just 1 point between them. And Monaghan, it'll be a great place for a party tonight because this is very important to this Monaghan team. They were determined right from the beginning. Once the draws were made last October, they felt they had the easy side of the draw to a certain extent with respect to Fermanagh and Cavan, and then the big one. And they produced a very good performance.
Great point, Marty.
GA Porrick Duffy as Monaghan get the Anglo-Cell Cup for the 16th time in their history. Here's their captain, Conor McManus.
I suppose we did it in 2013 as well, and I suppose after that game it was more, maybe some of the talk was more that Donegal were tired and Donegal injuries and one thing and another, and I felt that maybe the boys didn't get credit for the performance. Last year Donegal beat us fair and square. They were the better team of the day. We were just determined to come back here and really put our bodies in the line today and see if we could win another one. Just delayed for the fellas. Hey, they've worked so hard, and just delayed they got the rewards today.
We were very disappointed our first half display. We felt we were a bit flat after starting the game well. We went 3-1 up, but Monaghan took over and completely dominated the rest of the second half. And we just didn't play with the normal intensity that we did. But look, fair play, Monaghan were very good in the first half.
We're going to go work and train now in the next two or 3 weeks. We're going to have to work hard. We're going to have to try and get over that line in the quarter-final stage. It's not going to be easy. We're not. Listen. Let the people of Monaghan enjoy these celebrations for next week or so. We'll just get back down to train. We want to get back up in the Croker. That's where we wanted to be, and hopefully, we can get a win in Croker.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt about it. A fantastic win for Monaghan, great celebrations, and rightly so. Eamon, Malachy O'Rourke has done a fantastic job with Monaghan. Deserved win. Donegal will look at 10 missed wides in the second half.
Yeah, they will. They'll be very, very disappointed, Des. Fairness to Monaghan, they contested very, very well throughout. Very, very composed on the ball in a lot of cases. But, the second half, Donegal really controlled the game, and credit to Monaghan, they kept putting them under pressure, forcing them into shots that we're not used to seeing Donegal do, and it was very, very unusual, very uncharacteristic of them. But, credit to Monaghan, they hung on there and right to the very, very end. And Donegal could have snatched a draw. But, that's the luck that you have to get to win these provincial finals.
Yeah. Kevin, to pick up on what Rory Gallagher said there, they were a bit flat in the first half. They were a bit flat against Derry, some of you thought as well.
Well, look back at the route they had to take. Tyrone, Armagh, Derry, and now this one. So you couldn't walk into any of them those games nice and cash. There was no way of just building up to the Ulster final. They were being tested from day one and right through. They had a tough side of the draw, and they would have had to peak. I'm not saying to the absolute of their powers, but they would have had to be very well prepared and work very hard for all of those games. Definitely there were signs in the Derry game. We would have commented on that, and a lot of people commented on it, that they were a little fatigued, a bit lethargic about their game, that you wouldn't associate with them. And I think we saw another bit of that today, and that was a worry that a lot of people would have had about Donegal. Would they be a little bit flat today?
All right, we'll talk about how they might address that presently. Last year in the Championship, Monaghan went out fairly tamely to the Dubs. Are they a stronger outfit this year?
Look, Malachy O'Rourke's done a great job. Winning the provincial title again, it was massive, and did great energy today. But in terms of the strength of the team, you'd say Conor McManus is the big player for them. There is an over-reliance on him. If he has a bad game, and in fairness, he was marking Neil McGee today, and he is a tough defender. But you would say that there is an over-reliance on him. Coming into Croke Park, coming into big games, they'll need other forwards to stand up. They are playing well. They've lots of energy, and it's a fantastic win for them tonight. But coming to Croke Park, they'll definitely need to up the ante in terms of scoring up front.
All right, then. You tell us, Eamon, where you think they've improved from last year.
Yeah, I think last year when they were in the defending champions last year in 2014, they were very, very rushed in terms of their play and how they actually played Donegal. Donegal were very much hungrier to it. But this year they were very much controlled. Now I have a couple of examples here how we compare last year versus this year and how the team has actually developed. This is 2014. Paul Finlay in possession, just trying to force a pass that actually wasn't on. Now in today, this is a series of passes. Now we're going to speed this up because it involved about 20 close to 20 passes or so, where they just kept the ball. No one was rushing, no one was being rash. They played it all the way out, and the crowd, you could hear the crowd humming and hawing, saying, what were they doing? But they knew what they had to do. Dublin or Donegal never pushed out at all. They waited and waited. Pass was played in, and Duffy gets in the right position and pops a great score. It was a great pass, but it was
patience
controlled,
there
it was
as well.
patient.
Yeah.
This is what they've worked at. Again, 2014, running down the line, and unfortunately it's Paul Finlay again. It's a wild, rash shot, and to absolutely nobody. And it was almost like, we were kicking this ball game away. But again today, this is 2015, keeping the ball, not rushing, nobody's forcing anything, waiting for the right pass into the right position, and you can see here Kieran Duffin popping the ball. And that's what I think Malachy O'Rourke and what they have learned from last year's losses.
Thank me, but this is another careless shot out of column. 10 wides in the second half, the dominated possession, and it was these careless wides that really cost them the game. They lost by a point, but it was their shooting at the end of the day. Rory Gallagher will sit down, and if you're to analyse that properly, you'd say, right, correct the shooting, and we're still a serious outfit for this championship.
So you keep
absolutely
them very much
and the two shots that were very debatable, that possibly could have been on another day waved over. So that's how close it was.
Yeah, several people asked us actually about that. The Paddy McBrearty effort at the end, did it go over or not? Well, there's no Hawkeye there, and our cameras did not show to any conclusive extent whether or not it was over. So they're still in it, obviously, and they'll go on and play Galway now. But let's give Monaghan credit too for a small county. Maybe they're a model for other counties. They don't final then, did
yeah, plenty of players played well. You had Paddy McBrearty, Desi Moan, Ryan McHugh, but the first nomination we went for was Frank McGlynn. He was incredible. Some engine, and the amount of ball he got on. I think he got cramped near the ends. He ran that much, but played excellent today. The wing back for Monaghan, Carl O'Connell, excellent point in the first half and played extremely well. And finally we went for Conor McManus, 6 points and 3 from play.
All right, and Kevin, who's the winner?
Well, it's Conor McManus. Again, he just had an incredible game. Captain. A huge day for him personally, and the expectation that was going to be around that for him to come out and then perform. And I thought, just as a little experiment, we might just look at the sort of pressure that he was going to be under in terms of his contribution. But he knew he was going to be facing Neil McGee, probably the best man marker in the game. And we put a camera close on them, and you'll notice that McGee is touch tight. Now, 90% of it is legitimate. The other 10%. Corner forwards and forwards just have to live with it. That's the game we play in. And there's two of them well able to tango, it has to be said. But remember, Neil McGee gets this job every second week. Take out the top player on the other team. This is incredible defending. Touch tight, as I say. Total concentration. OK, spills over every now and then. That's the life that we lead. But McManus, to come through all that, Des, the discipline, the concentration, and the score getting, the strength, like that is incredible after hard work. And here, I just picked this one out to show how he used the receiver to take out his marker. Lovely little 1-2. Neil McGee followed the ball, and Conor had that cuteness to come around him on the loop and then kick it in. A little tap here to say, we're having a good old battle here in the Pleasure Dome. I think I'm leading it, but there's still 30 minutes to go.
All right then. Well, congrats to Conor. A proud day for him and for Clontilbert. Let's hear from him now.
It's a special day for Monaghan football, coming back on the back of the defeat last year in last year's Ulster final. We were very hungry and determined to get back here, and I think we showed that for 73 or 4 minutes there.
You were the better team over the 70 minutes, but you could have got caught really there towards the end.
We could have got caught. We had chances possibly to pull away from Donegal, and we left it very close near the end, and we were within that of a replay. So look, we're delighted to get over the line, and it's a great day for Monaghan football.
A great day for Conor McManus, because you are the Aircom RT man of the match for this Ulster final. Paul Callahan from Aircom will present you with your award.
Yeah, well done. Big night.